John, this next area, I'm going to quote. So in 2011, the Wall Street Journal's Task Force for Women in Economy commissioned a study by McKinley & Company to research some of the challenges for women in ongoing career growth. And here's a quote from that. It said, middle management women get promoted on performance. Many middle management men get promoted on potential. It's performance versus potential. And this was said by Michael Malhotra, who was the chairman of the Americas for McKinsey & Company. So, John, as the only male member of the panel and CEO of one of the large international talent recruitment firms, have you found this to be true in your past experience?
Unfortunately, I find that to be very true. I find that to be true from the clients that we work with. I find it to be true in our own organization as well. We have, and our organization I think is very progressive and very inclusive and very dynamic. But what's very true about that statement, although it sounds very controversial, that it's performance versus potential. One of the things that you can do to make a difference, and I'll speak from personal experience, that typically the people that will come to me as an executive and talk about their career and the future of their career are the men. The women in the organization will wait to be recognized for what they've accomplished. It's not a gender gap. A lot of it just has to do with culture and what people have seen from others around them in the workplace. But typically the women in the organization wait to be recognized for what they've done, while the men will step forward and say, what can I do? They're asking about the potential. They're working on their career path. They want to know what direction they can take to advance their career. So what I would encourage you to do is, again, it's not a gender gap. There's nothing about being a man or a woman that stops you from going up and asking somebody, what do you think that I can do? How can I advance my career? What direction should I take? What are my strengths? What do you see in me? Step forward and ask that question, and you can change. A year from now, maybe we can change that article in the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. You know, there's a second part to that quote, and I'm going to direct this now to our other panel members. Qualified women actually enter the workforce in sufficient numbers, but they begin to plateau or drop off when they are eligible for their very first management positions, and it only gets worse after that. So, have you found self-promotion to be difficult for you as you pursue your advancement?
I'll start with that. For me, it hasn't been difficult, but when I look back at my career, I also believe that I was also at the right time at the right place when companies were experiencing hyper growth. So in my career, I was getting promotions, once or twice a year. Now you don't have those kinds of opportunities as much. There aren't enough upward mobility, so you really need to look at your career slightly different. Instead of going up, maybe going sideways to expand your variety of skills in different departments. Plateaus do happen, and when they do happen, I think those are pivotal moments to be able to reach out to a coach or a mentor and get some guidance along those areas, but they do happen.
Yeah, I would agree. I think I actually took this question and asked several senior managers within our own organization what they thought of this statement. I mean, they were kind of like, their mouths sort of dropped open. I'm not sure anybody really talked about it. I mean, I don't think I'd actually even really consider that. So, I mean, I applaud Advancing Women for bringing this forward, because I think if we don't discuss it, then we can't make changes around it. So, I think it's a very interesting survey, and I love that we're talking about it and bringing some awareness around it.
Yeah. Mary Ellen?
I agree with this study, and I think it's interesting today's generation that is entering the workforce, the millennials. I don't think they have a problem with self-promotion. I have had interviews with candidates that are so ultra-aggressive that I sit there and go, geez, they're going to own this place by the time 5 years rolls around, and that's kind of exciting. But at the same time, I think employees who have been in a career mode for 3 to 5 years, I think those are the folks that get a little comfortable with what they're doing, and they could use, a little guidance with that. I agree with the mentoring or the coaching opportunities there, because I think those are important to instigate them for success. So I agree with that.
I could just make one other comment back to what John was saying, that women have a tendency to wait until they're recognized, and there is a little bit. I know you're saying it's not a gender issue, John, but I think there is a little bit in all of us women that go, well, if you can't recognize what I'm doing, well, I'm not going to tell you. Right? We do that with our spouses. It's like, well, if you don't know what's wrong, I'm not going to tell you. So I hate to tell you, ladies, but that does translate over into the workplace, and we need to cut that out and do a lot of self-promotion. And there is an art to promoting what your accomplishments are and what your strengths are, and we all need to learn that.